Hello everybody, welcome to Wisdom from North. I'm now sitting at a cafe in Oslo together with a truly inspiring woman, Iffit Qureshi. And she has started a fantastic site called Humans of Oslo, which we are going to speak about today, and her transformation, why she started doing this. Welcome to Wisdom from North. How are you doing?
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. It's lovely sitting here at this cafe because it was raining outside, but I was thinking this is perfect for you because you're into Oslo, you know, taking pictures of human beings, just ordinary people. But I want to go back to where it all started because you worked in the media in Oslo and you were kind of, your mind was busy with other things.
Yeah, I mean, I had like a couple of jobs at the time. I was working both as a consultant in a government organization, but also I was writing in the media as well about issues regarding racism and discrimination, Islamophobia, issues that were relevant at the time and still are. And I was like constantly arguing with people. There was constantly discussions about issues regarding racism. In fact, I think that this was what all my time was consumed on, was racism, discrimination. And it's probably because I'd also felt so much growing up as a child, but I'd also seen so much here in Norway too. And that made an enormous impression on me. And I wanted to do what I could with my own experiences. I mean, I come from Scotland. I was born and brought up there. So I've seen the anti-racist movement, and I've seen how important it was to have a strong voice. And so when I moved to Norway, it was, I guess that most of my experiences have been touched by my own experiences and others. So yeah, and I felt that I'm not the kind of person that can sit back and do nothing. I'm the kind of person that has to do something. I mean, the first time I actually learned to write something was when my father gave me a pen and a large board, and he taught me how to colour in some letters that he was going to use in a demonstration. So my activism comes from my father.
But then you were very engaged in what you were doing, but you have this TED Talk that I really loved, and I recommend you watching it. It's in English. And you were saying that you were sitting there with your colleagues arguing and characterizing people and talking politics, and your blood pressure was high and you left the meeting just being angry and not liking each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that was at that time, it was everything was categorized. It was racist, it was anti-racist, there was brown, there was white. I mean, everything in these debates, not just based on my own articles, but also everybody else's as well. You were either part of a group or outside the group. There was never any zones in between. And that was extremely frustrating because you would meet people that you actually had nothing to do with, but you only had to meet them in a discussion and you would already be enemies. You know, you didn't know who you were, you didn't know anything about your background, and you didn't even look for the common, the commonalities between us. So yeah, everything in my mind was categorized. It was
black and white in a way.
Yeah, I would have to say black and white. Yeah, and it was like, you know, good and bad, and I seemed to believe that I had the truth, that I knew what was right because of the fact that I was very much part of the anti-racist movement. That also meant that I saw people as equals, but in fact I didn't. Being part of that movement also meant that I labeled people based on their beliefs. But in fact, I realized that we have so much more in common, and the commonalities arose after the 22nd of July bombings, the terrorist attacks in Oslo in 2011, and it had a profound effect on me on a level that I mean, I've been through so many paradigm shifts in my life, but this one here, just I became silent. There was nothing that I could say to comfort anyone. Parts of the media, they had asked me to write articles about, you know, what had occurred, and I found it extremely difficult. There was nothing that I could say to comfort anybody, so I just decided to stay silent.
So your mind, you know, your left brain, everything didn't give you words because it kind of came to a short.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was almost like as though there was this enormous compassion that took over, an awful lot of grief as well because of what I had witnessed outside the church in the centre of Oslo, where I saw these girls who were crying and they were hugging each other, and they had like different backgrounds. You know, some of them were Norwegian, some of them were half Norwegian, Philippine. And I remember looking at these girls and I'm thinking, my God, this is Oslo today. This is a unity that we normally don't, which normally isn't seen. And I had decided that I'd just stay silent, wait until Anders Behring Breivik had received his sentence, and then in 2012, July 2012, I would do something. And I remember feeling I was frustrated for almost a whole year. I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what to do, because I'm the kind of person that does something. I'm not the kind of person that just sits back. I've never been like that. And I don't know, there was something about there was a friend of mine that showed me the Humans of New York project. And
what is that for people who don't know?
The Humans of New York project was started by Brandon Stanton, and I mean, an amazing human being that just started taking pictures of people in New York, and it suddenly became, widespread in a short period of time on Facebook. And there was nothing like Humans of Oslo, or there was nothing of that kind of project in Oslo or in Norway. So I decided to just go in and I had very little knowledge of taking pictures of people, doing portraits, because most of my photography was based on buildings, architecture. So when I went in, I remember thinking, this is what I want to do. This is my gift to Oslo, and also it would be in memory of all the 77 people that got killed, that were mostly children that day. So yeah, that's where that project comes from, Humans of Oslo.
So tell me how you're actually working. Like, you're walking on the street, just taking your car and bringing your stuff, and then just finding people to take pictures of and say, hey, can I take a picture, and what's your story? Or
I think that probably in the beginning, the first 2 months, it was like that, because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And I remember that it was extremely frustrating, because I knew I wanted to do more with it, but I wasn't too sure of what it was going to be. And at the same time, I was going through an awful lot of difficult things, health-wise. So I had an awful lot of health challenges too. And I think that in fact also made me more sensitive. And so that it also made me more open as well. So when I would meet people, this is really crazy, but it was like as though I was reading them. So what I would actually do is I would trust my gut feeling and go towards the people that I felt that there's something calling me, that I was curious to know what it was.
Yeah, because it's very interesting, the people you are actually taking photos of, and I can't believe you're finding them. There was this woman with this mask or something like that with spikes going out.
Yeah, she's what you call a cyber goth. And it was actually Tifa, this girl that I taken a picture of, and I mentioned her in my TED talk, that Tifa was she was scary for me too when I saw her the first time. But then I thought, why am I scared of this woman? I mean, she must have a story, there must be something there. So I decided to spin back and chase her up the road, and it was winter and it was extremely slippy. And once I got caught up with her, or once we caught up with each other, then I asked her, about her clothes, about her style. And then I realized that, when she took down her mask and started talking to me, she had the sweetest voice. I mean, she had a lovely, beautiful human being. And she had decided to start wearing these clothes because of the fact that she was scared. I mean, she was not so much scared, but she had experienced so much discrimination and bullied at school.
Wow, so protection.
Yeah, exactly. So it's protection. She said that now she likes the fact that people fear her when she goes on the tram or when she's outside. And I thought that's a story. I mean, so all these people that I've kept a distance from, I'm actually, I'm losing all those stories that would actually open our minds. And that's when I changed. Once I met Tifa, that's when, that shift in me happened, where I decided to challenge myself in meeting new people and approaching people that I would normally never talk to. And that was young, old people with tattoos on their faces, people that looked like maybe they were in a gang. I mean, seriously, this project has made me fearless. So, I mean, talking to, people with, bikers, for example, I can joke with them, I can talk to them, I can talk to the police. Nothing scares me, really. Yeah.
It's beautiful. So it was this transformation in you
Yeah, and I think I have to thank Tifa for that. I have to thank the Humans of Oslo project and all the people around me that have supported me along the way. But I think that this, I mean, the Humans of Oslo project, it's not just pictures of people, it's not just the stories, it's so much more. It's about a city that is in fast development, you know, and it's a city that not very many people know anything about. Even the people that live in Oslo, I don't think that they know that much, and they haven't taken that much time to actually talk to people on the tram or, you know, on the bus or outside, or talk to the shopkeeper behind the counter. I mean, I'm born and brought up in Scotland, where you get to meet people of all backgrounds, and I mean, even an old lady called Mary will come up to you and start telling you about her whole life story. In Glasgow, you can actually do that because that's where I'm from. But in Oslo, it's much more, people are much more closed. So there was a need. Humans of Oslo fills a void which doesn't exist at the moment. Yeah.
That's beautiful. How many are following you, and how have the reactions been?
It's been, you know, it's been amazing. I mean, and I'm really proud, I have to say that, and that is that today Humans of Oslo passed 30,000 viewers, 30,000 fans, sorry, and it has over 198,000 viewers per week.
Wow.
So, I mean, but at the same time, I don't see this as being just my, you know, I share my success with the people of Oslo, because it's not just mine. It's never just been mine. It belongs to everyone, because it's something that, it's a project that we all can learn from, and it's something that means so much to so many people.
Still, I want to add that how I look at it is that you started it because there was something in you, because you felt followed your inner voice, that you needed to do something, and then all of a sudden, by you taking yourself seriously, doing something, your heart is saying, you know, do this, then you will affect others. You didn't start out doing, now I'm going to do this for everybody else.
No, I mean, when I started it, I knew that this was going to be a project that was going to be for Oslo. I had, what can you say? I had a bigger goal, which didn't, you know, it wasn't just about me. Like, many people will be focused on just themselves. And I think I have to add this, Yannicka, is that's what I love about your work, is that when you talk to people, you're not just focused on yourself. You know, you're focused on the bigger picture. You're focused on talking to people, and I find that why I loved watching, you know, your talks, because I learned so much from you. And there's this thing about you know, talking to people of different backgrounds and getting them to open up. It's a very humbling experience when they trust you. And I've been told, I mean, I've managed to, I've done over 2,700 interviews. I just had to admit that today.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is, and it's affected my health. It's affected my income. It's affected my personal life, in the sense that I've hardly had time for my friends, because I have to run around taking these images in all weather. And I just felt that I have to put out the images, because there's people out there that have something to say, and we have something to learn from. Yeah. So it's the bigger picture indeed, and it's something that I feel like it is my calling. Yeah, and I never realized where this would go, what it would result in. I didn't realize that it would affect my own personal growth, or that it would touch so many people's lives the way that it has.
That's what I mean. Like, when you follow your calling, it will affect others.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a journey in itself, and it's not enough just to take that snapshot. You actually have to come in contact with people. You actually have to. I would almost say it's like touching their essence in a way, you know, on a spiritual level. And that's when I get my images.
I see that, because I see that in the pictures. You're taking such beautiful pictures. And it's just, you see that person, and you kind of fall in love with that person when you see those pictures. So, I mean, you are a brilliant photographer, but I think also you need that intuitive sense.
Yeah, I think everybody works differently, and I mean, I don't want to say that I have any of the secrets to how you do that. I just have to trust my gut feeling and do what I feel that I do best, you know, and that is capturing people when they're, you know, just when they're, you know, what I actually do is that, or what this project has taught me, is that everybody wants to be seen, everybody wants to be appreciated and honoured for who they are, not for how they look or their fame and fortune or anything like that. everybody just wants to be seen. Basically, that's what this project is about. And it's not about, you know, putting the images out on Facebook or getting people to like the images. It's more about that person, that interaction. So if I see somebody that I've taken a picture of today and I see them again 6 months later, I will know them and I will go up to them and say hi.
So are mostly all of them saying yes, that they do want to be taken a picture of?
Yeah, there's a large majority, yes. And I think it could also be my approach too, that what I actually do is that I just breathe and I just relax my shoulders, and I just let things flow. You know, it's crazy to
Get into the flow.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I just let things flow, and I do what I do, and that is communicate with people. And I've always been a communicator, but I've never been able to fine tune it the way that I do now. You know, and I'm extremely curious. You have to be curious when you're doing this.
I know, I'm too.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Well, thank you so much. Is there anything you want to add in the end?
Just that I think that I just want to spread more love through this project. I mean, the fact that it's now going to be a book.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's going to be a book in August through one of Norway's largest publishing companies. And that will be Norway's first street photography book with interviews.
Wow.
So it's historical, actually. So what I would like to say to your viewers is that if you have a gut feeling and you're burning for something, go for it. Don't let anything stop you. Just go with the flow and just trust it, because it's happening for a reason. And the only thing that will hold you back is your fear. And as long as you're fearless, you're not going to reach the goals that you want to reach. So yeah, and just open up, and gratitude every single day. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, guys, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't before. Much light from Oslo. Bye-bye.